So, there, let's take another look at deception. Okay, I know that sounds crazy because there's like hundreds of thousands of them. I think they're called glamours in True Blood, when the vampires erase your memory. That's the trick that these dialectics does. It makes you recall. It's like half a total recall. So let me give you another example, right? You know that a utility could be described as an asset because you know how much it helps you along and everything. You know, it's really useful. But an asset can't be described as a utility because a utility is being slowly degraded. It's being, you know, you're using it. It's wearing out, so you can't have the prospect of holding it for somebody to sell it to them. Then you're going to give them the lemon. So there's legislation, and I mean, this sounds boring and everything, and it's just one of thousands of, we're totally permeated throughout life with all of these dialectics. There's so many of them, you know what I mean? That's why people don't want to go into any, they probably don't want to deal with it because they know it's like, there's a lot of points to make if you're going to go that route, right? But let's just, I mean, I have time. So let's look at this variable because, you know, you're not wrong if you didn't agree, but then you might want to think about it because in your relationships and just the social, you refer to people as allies and you may not know that you're creating distance when you do that. Especially if you know a better way to describe them as being an asset. But if you think of asset, then you're like, oh, that's what, you know, the CIA or, you know, gold diggers or people say like that. But we're just saying, what are the pros and cons? Since you're going to use the word anyway, since you're going to say, you know, maybe someone's an ally, you know, or maybe someone's an asset, what has the better effect on, and why wouldn't you want to, if it's more accurate to describe the, you know, the fortitudinal characteristics of somebody that you want to get exposure to, similar that you do want an asset, you just get exposure to assets. You know, their responsibility to have them, you have to know how to store each individual asset is different, and they have different on and off ramps, or maybe there's different permits and ways to take care of assets and everything. And it seems like a hassle, then you wouldn't just rather own anything. But there are people that like owning stuff. And if they don't want to go back to eating out of a dumpster, doesn't mean that you have to prove that by showing me how much you own. You know what I mean? Like, it's, you're getting your methodology together with the choices of the words, and it's really actually, it actually matters, you know. Because you can reforge as allies, right? So, you know, you can make allies, and then you don't have to, but if, you know, if someone stops becoming an asset, that's a really big deal because that's one of their fortitudinal characteristics that's gone. That's worser. So it is mind control in a sense, but at the same time, if you don't use it, then I'm going to be mad because you're referring to me as an ally and not an asset. You know what I mean? It's almost like you turning your back on me. I mean, you may disagree. So that, I mean, but just how does that help you? You know what I mean? Like, you're not being devious or anything because you're using the words that has more power. Maybe you're dealing with a more quantum powerful individual and they deserve that respect. So they will have to distance themselves from people trying to, you know, forge these allegiances and everything, you know. They expect that you're, you know, bound by a pact or something, so you're not going to be candid. You're not going to be candor. I wish I could go through a lot more glamours, like you know, a lot of them. But I mean, why is there a reason to rush? Yeah, is there a reason to rush and just jump? Because I could just jump into another one. You're like, why are you going there now? You know, and you're jumping all over the place. What is a util? Util. A util is a expeditious means so something that can amplify your will, like a technology, or you can, but you know, everything that we build, we sow the seeds of its own destruction into all of our inventions and everything. So it'll be a piece of crap. It's actually a piece of shit when it rolls off the line brand new. You just don't know until the next piece of shit comes out how much a piece of shit that was, or until the next piece of shit comes out why it was a better piece of shit than the piece of shit that we have now. All right, enough videos.